Even though specifics have yet to be hashed out, the more than 3-hour-long July 30th school committee meeting seemed to shy away from having all public students in class with desks spaced widely all week long. Instead, the committee is considering at least beginning this particular school year under a so-called hybrid model, having students on campus no more than 2 days a week, or continuing a fully remote curriculum as Arlington Public Schools were doing in the spring. Despite reiterating that significant safety measures would in fact be in place, committee members spent a good part of the meeting hearing concerns from residents and teachers alike.
We are living in a global pandemic and it is not under control. As September approaches, I am consumed with fear. I don't want to be exposed to COVID. I don't want to expose my mother to COVID. I don't want to be the reason my mother dies. My children will be learning remotely. My 10-year-old needs more social emotional learning than academic, but he is in the age range which transmits COVID more than adults. My 5-year-old has been counting down the days until she starts kindergarten. However, she will not set foot in a kindergarten classroom until there is a vaccine.
The head of the Arlington Education Association said it's simply too soon for all students to be in the classrooms full time.
After the most stressful school year of our careers, this has not been the restful summer for our educators. Waiting for other people to make decisions with such impact on our lives is nerve-wracking. Instead of vacation, this has been a summer of fear, frustration, and mourning the loss of so much about what we love about our jobs. We've been working hard, studying virtual classroom pedagogy, redesigning curriculum, becoming amateur architects, engineers, epidemiologists, reading every article that's being published that might help us understand what fall could look like. As the AEA, we surveyed and met with our members, and the following became clear to our board of directors. We, as a union, reject the all-in-building plan to reopen schools.
Acting Facilities Director Jim Feeney updated the committee on risk reduction strategies that are already in the works.
The one thing that I'm pleased to report that we'll be implementing district-wide is the upgrade of our air filters on each and every one of our HVAC systems in the district. So just as wearing a mask for a person is sort of the number one personal protective strategy you can take, increasing the level of filtration on your buildings is sort of like placing a mask on your building. So it helps capture particles as they're redistributed through the air and basically traps them before they get into the breathing zone. Beyond that, we are looking at, just as many folks are being encouraged to do in their own spaces, is the increased sanitization frequency of high-touch surfaces. In schools, there would be a focus on doorknobs and pulls, handrails, railings, sink faucets, flushometers, which is the toilet flushing mechanism, elevator buttons, and things of that nature.
While many of these safety measures go above and beyond what is recommended by the experts, skeptics say there are simply too many COVID unknowns.
While we recognize that the WHO and the American Association of Pediatrics has stated that students may sit 3 feet apart in class, we don't believe that reaching the bare minimum of safety standards is acceptable. Would any of you buy a car that just barely passed safety inspection? I wouldn't. Would you put your child in a car seat with terrible safety ratings just because it's legally good enough to be sold? I doubt it if you had any other options, and we have other options. The idea that we should take the lowest bar for safety is unacceptable for the children of this town.
Juliana Keys also noted that even under the full return option, many prized educational assets may fall by the wayside, assets like science laboratory and group projects. Whatever decision is made, and it'll have to be made fast, one thing is crystal clear. Some methods used to educate Arlington's public students under normal circumstances will have to be drastically changed, maybe even dropped. And that the old and once routine phrase, back to school, something we heard this time every year, is now being seriously tested and obviously seriously redefined. For ACMi News, I'm Jeff Barnes.